Okay. You're alive.
Oh God, I don't want to be. I don't want to be alive.
It's like, that got dark quick.
Yeah, it's like that CAPTCHA thing. It's like, are you alive? It's like, yes, no, unfortunately.
I mean, that's kind of how my greetings in the mornings at work are. Hey, Stephanie, how are you? And I'm like, I'm here.
I exist.
My wife is like, don't talk to me before 10. No, literally, go away.
AM or PM? Yes. Do you guys got anything before we start?
We should put a poll on the website and ask
No, that's
people,
the $69 tier.
and ask people to decide like who dies next or and
No,
he has to
listen,
try to
Listen, I've only got one thing going for me, and that's figuring out who of you dies next. Don't take that away from me.
Well, and two, it wouldn't be fair because, somebody would get on there and have a, Bodie McBoatface kind of situation where it all votes for Saiyna. But I don't know who that would be.
Yes, Saiyna McBoatface.
Saiyna McToosuni.
Uh-huh.
She was gone too soon.
Well, I'm just thinking we should come up with a poll to get people, involved.
I mean, I was going to do one on Twitter last year for Valentine's Day, and then I forgot.
Which two characters do you ship together?
Well, I mean, I was going to which should I work on first? These two slightly drunk elves or this hot cat lady?
Well, see, I really want the one of the options to be Iacus and Cabby. That way we get a picture of Iacus holding Cabby, who's got this terrified look on her face, and Iacus saying, I want you inside me.
My vote for the ship, Iacus and Proud Scream, match made in heaven.
That's going to be loud.
Beef Scream.
That's
the ship name.
For Proud Scream. Oh my god, that needs to be a shirt.
Oh god.
And it's got Proud Scream standing there like...
No, it's just Proud Scream with a very confused look on his face going, I'm not screaming. But in all caps. I'm not screaming.
Is that your inside voice?
That is his inside voice.
Oh my God.
It's his all the time voice.
He has no concept of inside or outside. It's just one voice.
That could be heard from 5 miles off.
Fast forward, that's actually how we reunite. We hear Proud Scream going, ah! And just landing. Oh yeah, there we are.
No, that's how you all reunite, is just from the four corners of the world, each of you hears a, hey, you guys! Oh, hey, we should go that way. Proud Scream shouted it from the tallest mountain.
Best of the
That
Marco
got a
Polo.
little shorter.
All he says is polo.
Marco Proud Scream. So speaking of Proud Scream, we need to have a Proud Scream arc as well.
Proud Scream Appreciation Day. April 20th.
What is it?
Proud Scream's for it if it's legalized. Oh no, I just thought it would be perfect. Proud Scream with just a gigantic blunt sitting in front of Eldamian's severed head in the tavern that's got this little flame jetting out of its mouth, just lighting it up. Proud Scream, blaze it! Well, enough of the pre-episode silliness. Now for the actual episode silliness.
We are a very professional,
You shut your mouth.
serious podcast.
I'd rather slam my dick in a car door than be professional.
Oh, I got a car door right there.
Let me at it.
We can do it live. Oh, God.
Babe, what the hell?
Here's the Proud Scream reenactment. professional and serious.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with no.
In what lifetime?
Alternate universe, yes. We're the NPR there. Cut that.
So, guys, we're looking for a replacement. Mike will no longer be joining us.
We'll just cut it in post.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and manually exercise Iacus from every episode.
Yeah.
There's just gonna be these weird gaps where things die in combat. No reason why. They just took 75 damage.
They're gonna do 5 episodes of that and be like, never mind. Fuck this shit.
How bold of you to assume
No,
it gets through
it's gonna
5.
it's gonna be this bad dub where it's gonna be like, my name is Iacus.
Just go in and retroactively insert whoever the new party member is. Anyway. So welcome to the Average Adventuring Party podcast, where catchphrase.
Yes.
What happened last episode, you guys?
Galdrien's getting groped by a halfling.
Yeah, that was the high point.
It's typical Galdrien,
We
Evening. We started
Yeah,
off.
we expect that.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Galdrien just getting butt pinches from somebody at any given point.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a full episode. We climbed out a window, got our shit pushed in, went back in the window nearly.
Almost got your shit pushed in. A lot more.
Huh?
Hi, Dice. Thank you for rolling low for that one time.
Man.
Well, the pattern's been set. Guess what they're going to do for the rest of all time?
I mean, we expected that anyway.
Yeah.
What do you think they are? My dice?
Our dice are made to betray us. We have accepted this.
We have accepted that the real villain of this campaign is not you. It's our dice.
Damn, I need to step my game up. How many of you still have parents left?
Still have what?
Parents left.
We've already had this discussion, Gary.
Okay.
God!
Jerry.
Jod.
Is it pronounced God or Jod?
Yes, we had this discussion, Gary.
Jeff.
I have sharp, pointy things. And I sit next to you.
We had this discussion, and your only clarification was not that I couldn't kill your father again, just that I couldn't kill him off screen.
I mean, why would you torture us that with off screen when you can rip our hearts out on screen?
Hey, I'm actually proud of myself. I killed Galdrien's father both off screen and on screen.
That's true.
Schrodinger's father, except both ways he's dead.
So yeah, you guys jumped out a window, got stopped by a tiny little girl.
Who was about to die.
All 4 of you, just this, like 75-pound nothing, pushed you all around.
Our dice hate us.
I
To
mean,
be fair, she's like werecat
That's true, too.
or dragon.
Bearcat.
she got some pretty nasty psychic damage going on. I imagine that she's not going to be doing so hot next time we run into her.
If nothing else, she's got a hell of a hangover after
Yes.
this.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Make her angry.
Oh, she's going to be having bad, devil dreams for a while.
Bold to assume that she doesn't already.
Yeah.
This place is weird.
I just realized I gave her a brain freeze. I did ice psychic damage.
Hell froze over within her brain.
Would that make it psychic damage? So yeah, when last we left off, you guys were being pushed up the steps of this enormous brothel by a tiny little halfling in a harlequin mask and an evening dress. Her hair is done up. It was kind of nice at one point, but now it looks a little messy, like she ran all the way down here when she realized that some dumbasses were starting a fight in her front courtyard.
We are not smart people.
As you guys were getting pushed up the steps, carpets were arriving with Hycosian security to come check out this disturbance.
I can just see the Hycosian version of cops. They come blazing in on carpets.
Woo!
No, not going to make the joke I was going to make. We'll pause that. And Verzu. As you guys enter the foyer, she actually pushes. She's got one hand on Galdrien's butt and probably like one hand on Saiyna's thigh, and is guiding you from behind. And she leads you down a hallway instead of like through the main thoroughfare, and pushes you all into what looks to be some kind of food storage room, and then walks past you, opens up a shelf and like pulls it to the side, and there is a hidden passageway, and she just gestures for all of you to come in.
Do I fit?
You have to scrunch down quite a bit.
So I'll let everybody else go first.
It is a, elven-sized door.
Still gonna let everybody go first so I can scrunch after them.
Yeah. So you scrunch in after them, and you find yourself in this gigantic room.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, it's the ceiling on it is probably 20 foot tall. It's very ornately addressed. There are several like lounging couches of various sizes. There's a massive fireplace in the center of the room that doesn't actually seem to have anything in it, but there's still a fire there. And there are gigantic, maybe 5-foot mirrors, just one right after the other, right after the other, right after the other, taking up all of the walls. And in those mirrors, you can see pretty much every angle of the bordello, including all of the rooms.
Oh, this feels like an invasion of privacy.
The halfling goes, it's in the terms and conditions. They know what they're signing up for.
And Galdrien, we really need to talk about your temper. Violence? I mean, come on.
The halfling closes the door behind you and says, well, now that you've disrupted business for the evening, and she walks over to one of these mirrors and touches it. And when she touches it, it comes into more focus, and you realize it's one of the boudoirs where all the workers are getting ready. And she says, why don't you go throw a party and give out some free vouchers? And there's a lot of grumbles, but one of the girls starts picking up these like golden orbs, and it's like, I guess. And you see them kind of just like start marching through, and they start throwing these orbs out into the crowd, and people, it's like, I got one, and goes running into the bordello. And pretty soon, we'll say even like the security forces start getting dragged in by the girls, and business goes back to normal. It's like, well, 19th crisis of the night averted. So, I hear you've been asking for me all night.
Well, I was hoping to find someone who might be able to help me figure out who killed my father.
And who is your father? Just so we're clear.
I'm still figuring that out, but Lord Lunarstorm.
Oh, yeah, him. Shame. I mean, this is his place. I have a favor to ask you in that case. Please don't shut us down.
Why would I shut you down?
Well, if he's your father, then this is your place now.
My father very explicitly requested in his will that I not inherit his title.
He's correct, and the funds are still currently provided for until the heir apparent decides.
I don't know who the heir is or if he even named one, but if it's up to me, I have no intention of shutting this place down.
She kind of looks around. Okay, but you just said you can't shut the place down. which I suppose is a blessing in disguise, really. So I'll take that for what it is. As far as your father goes, well, he hasn't been here in a while, really. He just requested that we leave the room untouched after your mother left, which we have, for the record. And she looks over at Rhys. We're fulfilling our contractual obligations.
Pulls out a little notepad from his disheveled coat, straightens it. Noted.
Saiyna and her one hit point are going to find a nice comfy spot and sit down.
I would like to tend to my companion there. She has been gravely injured.
Oh, well, that's a shame. Why don't you let me call one of... hold on. And she, hits one of the drawers, and another drawer pops open underneath it. And she's got a little rack of vials, and she just tosses one to you. Just give that one a try.
Can I have one too?
No, you've put me in a very uncomfortable position, Jola, and I don't appreciate it.
So?
And she just keeps her eyes on you and pushes the drawer closed.
I'm hurt.
Well, one of us has the ability to spontaneously call down divine favors.
That... Fine.
Jola, I will tend to any injuries you have.
And I appreciate the aid.
Well, no. You and I need to have a conversation. She can drink that and handle herself.
And apparently I don't matter.
I'll come back for you.
No, you mattered until you put me in a very awkward and uncomfortable position. Which, as I'm not one of the...
It had to be done.
Yes.
Yes. It is not my fault.
Just because you say something has to happen doesn't mean it has to happen.
But it should happen. You are doing the right thing.
So legally speaking, the right thing is not the legal thing, and I think we may have broken some laws.
Oh, more than a few.
So, you...
But doing the right thing, while doesn't always feel good, it's the right thing.
Yeah, but you just broken multiple laws. You're more of an unlawful citizen than me.
And that is saying something.
That is not...
That is the factual truth.
At least I do the right thing.
Yes.
According
Wonder
to
what
who?
the magistrate will say.
She points at one of the mirrors where a couple of the security guys are being taken care of. I imagine they're saying some very untasteful things at the moment.
They're probably praising God right now.
But who says it's your god?
I mean, that's true.
Glug, glug, glug.
So, Saiyna,
Yes.
you just fall asleep.
I mean, if you were going to knock her out, that'd be the way to do it.
Yeah, you glug this down.
Uh-huh.
There's this brief kind of tingly feeling, and then
Oh.
you just start snoring.
This is
Which
gonna
is weird because you don't have sinuses.
Yeah. And this is going to make conversations very interesting.
Just so.
We can have a debate about legality versus morality at another time.
Technically, there's very few illegal things here.
Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. Here? I have not done that many illegal things.
That's neither here nor there.
Why don't you talk to Galdrien?
I am.
Have your
We're
little
just
talk.
talking about you.
Yes, let's discuss other things. You have more important things to tell him.
Does she?
Do I?
Did you not just say that you needed to talk to him rather than help me?
Did she?
Did I?
You have about 5 seconds before I go join Saiyna over there. I'm very tired.
Okay, short version. Your mother lived here a very long time ago. Your father had this place built because she was homesick. When they left, he paid us to maintain it in case they ever came back to Hycosia.
Well, my mother died when I was quite young, so she will not be coming back to Hycosia.
You did hear the part that she said when they left, right?
When they left?
Yes, your father left with her.
See?
What do you mean? I never met the man. He was not there when I was born, when I was growing up.
He came back a short while later, but they did leave together.
Then he did send that letter. But then why did he come back?
I don't know. He came back without her and never showed up here.
See?
I mean,
You-
when your mother was here, they would throw lavish parties and all the girls loved him.
Well,
I take that back. He did show up a couple of times, but not for anything specific. It was just to check on the business.
See?
But that
You-
was before me.
You have all this rage, all this temper going on, and violent tendencies. You don't even know the man. Calm down and let's find more information out. Stop violently hurting people.
I only hurt people that are already hurting others.
The camera chick was not hurting anybody. She was
Oh,
taking
yes,
pictures.
She was. By the time I started attacking her, she had already done quite a bit of damage.
And
Because he
point of
attacked
order-
first.
Actually, point of order. No. If you recall, I was attacked and accosted as I left the hotel. Everything that I did was in self-defense, but she smacked me out of there and took my picture. So he is correct. He was defending his legal representative. But thank
It is
you.
not self-defense if they are not continuing to attack you. She backed off and took your picture, therefore she was not continuing to attack you.
You can't punch someone, take their picture, and then say, "Oh, you can't defend yourself." that is not how that works. But we'll send you to law school.
Well, it sounds to me then that you.
Well, her and her friend are here pretty often.
Thank you.
Not,
Wait a minute, what?
Not you.
Who is?
Cree.
Is that the little cat one?
Yes. I mean, she's little, but she's pretty fierce.
Again, see? All this could have been handled with talking with.
And the other one, she's here pretty often too. You'd be surprised how many people visit us.
Talking.
Who do they work for?
Well, the little one works for the big one,
And the big one is
VMOC.
VMOC. Right.
She runs a newspaper of sorts,
And what's this newspaper called?
the Thread Twister.
The Thread Twister. Right. And then
Kind of like a trashy magazine. No, not in your kind of way trashy, but like lies
Wow.
trashy.
Wow.
Digging that grave, aren't we?
I didn't mean like
No, I know what you meant.
No, yeah, it was. How about you step off that high horse there for a moment? I am so sorry that I brought this to your house. Although I do want to ask you, if they are here very often, how much is she paying you to not run them off?
Oh, I don't particularly care. I just make myself unavailable when I know she's on the premise. And she gestures at some of the mirrors and says, "We've had our enchanters specifically look for her, so I'll know if she's here. And when she's here, I am." She holds up, two small hands. "Otherwise occupied,
Yes.
like tonight."
Yes.
well, so that's someplace that we could go. So, I suppose into the lion's den, as it were. What about my father's other potential heirs? Are there any business partners, any distant relatives that I should know about that you are aware of?
Well, I really only had business dealings with the man, and even then, it was usually, via third party. And she kind of like gestures at Rhys.
Hmm.
He had several representatives, but as far as I know, he was the only member of House Lunar Storm in the city. I, he didn't have like a couple of the other, like the halfling houses, for instance. My house, for example, they kind of bank on having a small army of children and grandchildren and nieces and nephews to do their bidding. That's a selling point, is it's all with the family. Your father, as far as I know, was his own thing.
Which house is your house, if you don't mind me asking?
I'd prefer not to say. Anonymity is kind of important to me.
I understand. I'm not particularly interested in invading your privacy.
Since his mother stayed here for a while, did his mother ever talk about any brothers, sisters, parents?
Not really. Mostly, she just slept here. My understanding, and you have to realize this was still years before I took over. She really didn't do much here outside of things with Master Lunar Storm. She, spent her days at the compound or in the city or doing whatever it is they did, and then she would stay here. So, can't really tell you much about her.
Is there anybody still around in the house that was around when she was? That may
there's-
have been friends with her?
I mean, there are definitely girls here who remember her.
Well, there's a starting point.
You actually met Dox earlier tonight. She was around about the same time as your mother.
She seemed very nice. Never did get a chance to really talk to her very much.
Oh, yeah. She's something. Certainly. Not a lot of call for sea elves here. But she makes do.
Galdrien shrugs and says, well, maybe she might know something, but do you know of any enemies my father might have had? I mean, I imagine he had many, one way or another.
She just kind of like gestures out towards the city and says, throw a rock and hit somebody. I'm sure you'll find somebody he's ruined financially or physically through his business dealings.
He was very good at that.
Well, let's see. Perhaps I need to talk with Dox and see if she might have any idea who else my father would have entrusted things to. Because that person could be a suspect or they could be in a lot of danger.
Well, you can ask her. And she points out back. There's a pool, and Dox is swimming and kind of doing little acrobatics, keeping guests entertained. She's there. I do warn you, however, this place has a lot of ears, and not always necessarily the kind you want hearing. Your reporter friend is just an example of that. So maybe be discreet, which seems like it should be common sense at a brothel, but I'm just reiterating.
Galdrien will look in one of the mirrors that's showing the boudoir,
Uh-huh.
and I imagine that there's like clothing and such there, like costumes and stuff.
Mhm.
And he's going to say, if I may make a small raid of that room, I think I have an idea. And if you could tell Docs that she has a private engagement.
Sure, I'll send someone along. Would you two like to rest? Are you hungry?
I am, and I do, but I've got a powerful desire to mess with some of your clients. You know, tell them their wife is paging them from the mirror, things like that. How often do you do that?
Oh, no.
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 You-
That would be a misuse of these powers.
Oh, but it'd be so fun.
It would, but it would also be against our technical
And wrong.
liabilities.
Wrong. How? That is illegally wrong. We'll talk about you now.
No. I am merely talking about trying to save a marriage, because if somebody is finagling around on their wife,
I'll try to spin it in your direction.
Galdrien points to a mirror and says, I'm pretty sure his wife's right there in the room.
The halfling walks up and points a wand at that mirror, and it kind of like zooms out a little bit. And, oh yeah, not just his wife.
Rhys is scribbling down.
Councilman Sanders.
Seeing as how
All right.
nobody cared to heal me, I'm going to rest.
Who said I healed her?
I mean, she's at least sleeping.
Galdrien, you know where the door is.
Galdrien is going to he's going to be very subtle about it, but he's going to slip into that room and change up his appearance a little bit. He is going to be finding something that is a little bit akin to, a black wig. So he's going to hide his hair under the wig. He is going to be wearing much plainer, more rustic-looking clothing. And
Fake goatee, come on.
elves don't have facial hair in this, so and for all anyone else knows, he is just just a plain old elf.
What's his stage name?
His name is Fernacio.
You go into this room. Dox is waiting for you, and is in just a gigantic tub. It's got like silk curtains that are hanging down on all sides, and they're kind of artificially and magically shimmering with this sort of pinkish red light, creating ambiance.
Ambiance.
And when she sees you, she goes to say something, looks at you, squints her eyes a little bit.
And Fernacio is going to give her just a little wink.
Hello, stranger that I have never met before in my life.
Yes. My first time coming here.
Well, hopefully you'll come here more than once tonight. And she kind of draws her hand back through the curtains and gestures to the pool. Says, "Why don't you join me?"
Yes, of course. Swimming is good for one's health.
Yes, I find it really helps. It helped me with breath control. I can hold my breath for some time.
Oh, my.
You go to step in, and we'll cut back to the main room. You guys see Dox in one of the mirrors. Start preparing this pool. someone steps into frame, and then the mirror just shuts off.
Oh, that was the good stuff.
Why would you want to watch?
I could explain it to you, but I don't think you'd understand.
Sad, sad,
I tell
sad.
you. And I tell you, madam, if you could get this crazy little mirror in everybody's home, showing the brothel, you'd make a killing. Just a little screen that they can turn on at any time. I'm on to something.
Schematics?
You know,
And if they don't pay for it, the best they can do is they get to see it all scrambled.
she kind of nods. It's like, we could charge them a subscription fee,
Yeah.
get them hooked on it, and then slowly raise the fee.
Come by my office on Tuesday, and we'll talk about this. We'll flesh out this deal.
Saiyna,
Uh-huh.
you wake up.
There is a very loud snort that my throat's not up to right now.
You wake up. You are still as injured as you were.
Ow!
You just now had a good 30-minute rest.
A short rest.
Yeah.
Does that do anything?
If you would like to roll your recovery die.
Yeah, sure. Where's my D10s? Yeah, you're a D10, I think. Yes. That's 9, 14.
21.
14 plus 7.
21.
14.
Plus 7.
Yeah, you're right.
Damn.
21. 21 plus 8 is 29. I have 30 hit points!
And you can roll another one of those.
How many recovery dice do we get?
It's whatever's listed on your
I think we have
sheet.
8. Galdrien
It
has 8.
doesn't list.
It does. What did you roll for lay on hands?
No, I mean, how many times can
Oh.
we use the recovery?
You
So
get
you
a
get
round.
one for free,
Uh-huh.
and then in the same day, if you do it again, you have to make a DC 5 save, and then it starts going up from there. So, Galdrien, you are in this effectively hot tub with a naked sea elf. For the first time, you realize she looks different than when you saw her. Previously, she had, a nice coiffed set of hair. She's actually very bald, and she has a ridge of spines along the top of her head, and then behind her ears there are a couple, and they are webbed. So think of frog feet, that kind of very translucent, soft-looking webbing. And then she has gills along her neck, and then along the soft parts of her body, so her belly, the undersides of her arms, her legs, are these very, very fine mesh scales. And she invites you into her pool.
Galdrien, or Farnacio, strips down and dips a toe in just to check how it is.
It is cool, but pleasant.
Then sinks in and that's nice. That feels good.
She reaches over and touches this little box sitting on the edge, and it starts playing music. And it's just sort of instrumental and very light. And she goes, "I assume there's a reason why you came to my room in disguise."
Yes, I have to be discreet.
Oh, well, this is the place for it.
Yes, well,
Do you have someone waiting back home? Is that what it is?
no. Well,
Do you have multiple people waiting back home?
I don't get me wrong. This is very, very nice. I mostly came here to ask about what was Galdrien's mother's name? I don't think we established that.
Um,
I don't think-
I don't think we did, but honestly, she probably was not referred to by name while you were alive.
Mhm.
She was your mother,
Yeah, but yeah.
and if she was still a worker at that brothel, she would have used an assumed name, and that's what everyone would have called her.
And in those letters that Galdrien read from his mother, did she sign them at all?
She did not,
Yes,
and the person she was writing to did not sign them.
I wanted to talk about the lady of the house, and I was told the former lady of the house, the one the room is for, upstairs, and I understand that you are one of the few ones here who actually knew her.
Oh yeah, I knew your mother.
My mother? Oh no, my mother lives in the Sun Chaser Sovereignty.
You told me you were the Sultan's son.
No, shh.
Oh, they can't.
Oh, okay. Well, then I suppose I can speak somewhat plainly.
What do you want to know about your mother? I only knew her very briefly.
I understand. Do you know if she, or if Lord Lunarstorm had any close people that may have been someone they trusted as, in case they needed to leave things to someone and trust them with anything?
If your father had any personal friends, he never brought them here. Your mother, though, she made quite a few friends outside of here. She didn't bring them back here. There's a certain stigma attached to living and working in a place like this.
Well, I grew up in one, so it's not.
Well, even here, where the taboo is every day, there's still, like, nobody will say it, but if you tell them you work at a bordello, they still treat you differently, even if it's subtle. So she didn't bring any of them back here, and I understand. I do. I know she was close to a fair number of the halfling merchant families. She would always tell me that she was going to this event or that event, and she invited me along a couple of times, but it's hard enough being a prostitute. It's even harder being a sea elf prostitute in a desert. People just wouldn't know what to do with me. And I wouldn't know what to do with myself in one of those events.
Mm-hmm. That's I'm not even a sea elf, and I can't stand sand.
Yeah, it's rough and coarse. It gets everywhere, especially under the scales.
Well, do you happen to know which families she may have been particularly close to?
Well, I know there was one. She and the matriarch got along quite well, but your mother was always a little upset at them because they promised to take her sailing, and they never got around to it before she left. It was... Oh, I can't remember it. Was it...
What was the name of the halfling family that Galdrien's familiar with from his previous life?
Tobacunon.
Tobacunon. Yeah, it's like Tobacunon. It's like, was it Tobacunon by any chance?
Oh yeah, it was them.
Oh, oh, wasn't actually expecting that to be the answer. I
Yeah, the pirate. Oh,
there-
excuse me, privateer.
private. Yes. Oh no, she would. That one would be too young. Um, Wait. Okay, let's see. Let me do the math real. Did they just have? Do they? Isn't there a young one in that family?
I don't know. I don't keep up with high
Okay.
society.
Well,
Other than the ones that come here, and we don't get a lot of halflings here, strangely. I mean, there's some, of course, but none from the merchant families.
yeah, they probably have their own.
Yeah, they're a little above.
Well, for what it's worth, I don't think. I don't think that there's anything unsavory about this place. It's very honest, to be frank.
Oh no, we do our fair bit of lying.
Well, yes, but that's also what they pay for.
Yeah, I myself lie a couple of times a night.
Oh yes, yeah. I imagine when they ask, "Oh, was it good for you?" and
Oh no, I meant sometimes in the pool, sometimes on the bed.
oh yes. Do you, well, to answer your earlier question, there actually, I would say it's complicated, but it's also not complicated. It's complicated in how uncomplicated it is.
That sounds terribly complicated.
Quite, but also no. Um, I've done a lot of living for someone my age. You could say that I've lived 2 lifetimes, as it were. And during that time, I've had some I've grown quite close to some of my companions, in particular, and there's also a devil involved or there was a devil. It's quite.
I've had one of those.
Ah, yes. Well,
It's not as weird as you think.
yes. This particular one, I don't think quite exists anymore or yet. I'm not really sure how that works, but it's funny. We never really put much of a label on things, any of us. But there are those I care for a lot, and being unable to help them or be with them right now, I find myself a bit lost in
Well, then help them.
there. I have no idea where they even could be.
She just kind of gestures out. And you're in a city where literally anything is possible. You're the son of one of the most powerful people in the world. Make something happen.
First, I have to settle my affairs, because if my father's actual heir chooses to shut this place down, then I think that would be rather sad.
I would think so. I mean, this has been my home for a couple of decades now.
To be honest, I wouldn't know. You look quite young to me.
Oh, well, aren't you just a flatterer? And she kind of puts one webbed hand on you, leans in real close. And says, I'm over 1,000 years old. I mean, 20 years isn't that much time, but it's been nice.
You wear it very, very well. I'm only in my late 20s, so it would be a little interesting.
I remember when your mother was pregnant with you.
But let's tell you what. I would like to just sit here and spend some time with you before I leave.
Sure.
And nothing untoward is happening. I think I do want to be true to the people that I love, but there's nothing that says I can't also enjoy some good company with a beautiful sea elf while I am.
Yeah. So Dox starts telling you about how dashing your father was when he was younger. When he entered his swashbuckling phase and had an enchanter basically enchant him like a super twirly mustache with pointy goatee, so he could look very rakish. And
It's just so absurd.
yeah, like he comes in with the Three Musketeer style hat with a feather in it, and your mother just laughed so hard she fell off of her stool. And she starts telling you that story. Meanwhile, back in the
Hey.
Whatever the equivalent is of like brushing her hair for her while she's telling that story, Galdrien is doing it for her.
meanwhile, back in the main suite, like we cut to everyone sitting around, and there's maybe 10 gigantic cloches that have been opened up and just full of food. And, right in the middle of taking a bite, the madam says, they say never to buy food at any place sex work takes place, but our cooks are top notch.
They are indeed.
As
Nom, 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 nom.
the pixie comes burrowing out of like a turkey, like, yep. Mm-hmm.
Can we hear what's going on in any of the rooms?
Not like passively. If at some points the madam will get up and point the wand at one of the mirrors, and you'll be able to hear what's going on when she thinks she sees something untoward happening. And she does hop up a couple of times to basically call in the brute squad to, break up somebody mishandling the merchandise.
This must be very uncomfortable for you. With all the money you've cost slavers and people in the sex work industry and all of that, this must be difficult.
There's nothing wrong with it if they're willing.
Great, we agree.
So the sex trade is not willing. That is where I come in.
Pulls out the notepad.
We don't. All of our workers are free people.
No, of course.
See?
I was just trying to get her to admit that she had done the things that she said she was not. That she, if I look back, I have not done what you said I did, and I quote. So, thank you. I appreciate that.
I still didn't admit to anything.
Oh no, you said that's where you come in.
Yes.
Yeah. Come in and do what?
A very sexual joke came into my mind and I stopped. Okay. Anyways. Maybe that's, where I'm from. Do you ever think of that? Maybe I escaped from a sex trade.
Record here says you did not.
That record might be wrong.
Not for the amount of money I paid for it.
Oh, because you can't lie for money.
So you lie for money as well. Good to know.
Anyways, so.
Saiyna will lean into the madam a little bit and say, they've been doing this all night.
Yeah, she leans over and is like, they should just fucking get it over with.
I know, right?
So,
No, thank you.
when his mother and father left,
Uh-huh.
was she pregnant or had she had him?
No, she's pregnant.
How far along would you say she is? Estimated guess. Do you
I
remember?
don't know. I wasn't there.
Well, why don't you remember? Didn't you ask questions?
I wasn't here.
Most people aren't annoying.
She says, I just have the notebooks of my predecessors that kind of set my course moving forward when I took over.
Is there any baby stuff in the room?
I don't know.
Have you not been up there?
No.
Do you refer back to where she said, "We did not touch it, for your record, maintaining the contract or contractual obligation"?
I'm not even listening to you anymore. What?
No, she didn't touch it. She said that they've been maintaining the contractual obligations that say they don't touch a damn thing.
Not everything. Everyone is as nosy as you are.
Okay. I am trying to help him.
Or is confrontational.
We're trying to help him too.
Oh, yeah?
That's why I told him not to be standing in front of the journalist in the brothel.
Why? But why would that have mattered?
Blink, 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 blink.
Have you seen Lord Lunarstorm?
Many times, yes.
Have you looked at Galdrien?
Many times, yes.
Are you not getting what I'm telling you?
No.
They look like family.
Okay.
And newly
No.
dead, richest man of the city. What's the first thing that his presumed heir does? Go to a whorehouse.
Bordello, please.
My apologies. It is in fact bordello. I stand corrected. But the first thing he does is go to a bordello. That does not scream suitable heir. It also raises legal complications. It is the wrong image. It's bad. Not that I judge. As you know, I'm a frequent flyer here.
My point is that anyone with eyes would see Galdrien and know who his father is.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Do you mean another?
So when you and Galdrien walked up in your father's house, not your father, his father's house.
Yes, I knew what you meant.
She's
So-
looking over at the pixie like, correction coming.
Yeah, she
What?
just came out of the earth.
Did you see the father get killed?
We saw the aftermath.
Okay. What makes you think that he was killed right then and there?
Oh, the blood was still warm.
I mean, that's a good reason. Okay.
And the Samaritan was still running.
The what?
The double that he made to tell Galdrien what was happening.
He made a double?
They don't last very long.
Simulacra, automaton,
Yes, that.
robot.
And was this part of his will?
Are you a legal representative or a designee? Because I would be in violation of my attorney-client privileges if I said anything about that.
Okay. So let's go back to the fact
Mm-hmm.
that you don't know how long ago it was. It could have been the day before.
Are you a tracker?
No.
Are you a survivalist? Are you a hunter?
But what's to say? His reasoning of, oh, the father gets killed and the son comes home and goes to a bordello.
Considering where we are, that's you may
The
be right.
son never existed.
And our dear attorney here may be
Yes,
watching
he
too
looks
many
like him.
dramatics. But the point I was making was anyone who looks at Galdrien knows he would be Lunarstorm's son. They look too much alike for that to be a denial.
Yes. But
Then
he's
he
not
become-
getting anything.
No one knows that except for everyone in this room.
How do you know?
Has any announcements been made about Master Lunarstorm's will and announcements of his death or anything?
We're under strict instructions to keep it private from all parties, including Galdrien.
So unless there is a spy, no one except the people in this room know anything.
So then nobody knows he's dead. So who cares? If a guy that
I
looks
think
like him
they know
came
he's
to
dead.
town,
Everybody knows he's dead.
They don't know the circumstances or the legalities yet.
We just knew there was an attack, and he was dead. We didn't know.
We are in the middle of what a meteorologist might call a shitstorm.
I still don't understand why we have to resort to violence. Why we could not have just talked to her. Or let her run the story. Who cares?
Why don't you just go to her office?
Hello? Easy answer. No violence. Where would her office be?
That's somewhere in the tourist district. I mean, you can look it up.
What was her name again?
You can look it up.
Creed.
Yeah, I could look it up.
Yeah.
Creed.
So see? Easy answer. Not to mention, again, who cares what newspapers say about him? Why is that such a big deal?
In this town, people tend to live and die by their reputation.
And Master Lunarstorm specifically said he did not want Galdrien involved in the politics.
More than
So
anything.
then this shows that he's not involved. He's out having fun, partying.
Well, I think your large friend is onto something. It puts his picture in the paper, which she's right. I can see the family resemblance.
What happened? Sorry to interrupt. What happened as Galdrien was crossing the street right after his dad had passed? Some hopped up, fopped up, fancy boy immediately came across and challenged him to a duel. Yes, I don't care if he frequents the bordello that I visit nightly. Doesn't bother me at all.
Uh-huh.
As my client, as my client's son, I should say. Well, no, he's my client. He paid me a silver. As my client, any press right now, as she said, gets him out in the paper. It gets his name out. And then, what happens then? All the paparazzi starts following him. Which means we have real-time updates throughout the city just because there's this giant crowd of journalists following him. Which means, if I'm a hopped up, popped up fancy boy that wants to get the new riches, I just follow the line of reporters. And then I can challenge him to a duel. And then the next little asshole gets to challenge him to a duel. And then the next little asshole. I have represented many rich assholes in this city. And
I thought you were going to say you had experience being a little asshole.
well, that too, yes. Yes.
But see, what
rule
you're not
number
saying.
one is to keep them out of public eye.
But what you're not saying is the fact that Galdrien has the power to say no to a challenge.
Yes, but
No.
he is in the public eye. He becomes a target for interest, and
So,
people do not let go of interesting things very easily.
well, and on top of that, it is very clear that you are poor and not from high society. Because while you can say no to a duel,
Yes.
you understand you give up part of your power, part of your soul, when you're forfeiting a duel.
Oh my god, it's the end of the world.
It is. You give up enough of your soul, you lose all your power, you die.
There is that too. Sanctioned duels
But
have
To
consequences.
die for doing what is right would be an honor.
She's an idiot, isn't she?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, I have an idea. Maybe we should sign you up for a duel and see how you survive that.
Oh, I like this.
You'd have to find someone to sanction it.
Yes, that would be the problem.
Um,
I'm just suggesting it to maybe shut her up. You are-
Maybe
I don't know.
what Galdrien needs is a little humility. He needs to show the town that he is not big and bad and powerful.
I believe he.
If he does not want what his father left him, obviously, which is nothing,
I believe
then
you.
who cares?
You
Let him
missed,
do what he wants.
You missed the part where he led the duel with, "Please leave me alone,"
yes.
until the guy would not. He gave him the chance to walk away.
Why didn't he walk away?
I don't think
Who?
the Mr. the
Galdrien.
Blade was going to let him.
Oh. I mean, he could have,
Yes.
but there's always a cost with duels.
Yes.
Um,
So pay the cost. Sometimes it is better to pay the cost.
To something you never consented to?
well, that's the problem. As the powers that adjudicate that consent, they provide your consent for you,
Yes.
unfortunately.
And this is all worthless anyways. I can't argue with
The law.
boy over here.
Well, there are ways outside of the duels. I mean, you can always.
My favorite tactic is blackmailing the challenger until they withdraw the duel themselves, and then you don't have to decline.
Because
But I-
that is legal, right?
Actually, yes. It is entirely legal. You don't get into my line of work if you're not very up to date on the laws and what you can do within them.
And the loopholes.
Anyways.
I was just going to suggest appealing, but you would have to have someone. If the boy isn't. If he isn't the heir to Lunar Storm, you would have to have someone with the power to introduce him. But you would need someone with a fair amount of political favor.
It just begs the question of why is he so intent and violent on standing up for somebody he knows nothing of? Obviously, he doesn't even know who to ask about him.
I have known him one day, and I know the boy has a good heart.
Okay.
He definitely has a heart, and he's going to defend what's going to be important to him.
Violently.
Of
Did you not
course.
see that rage in the music he played against the cat?
Yes, it was fantastic.
No.
Very melodic.
No. And all this for somebody he has never met.
Generally, you don't meet people who are accosting you before they accost you. Although you have met me, so it's not always.
But he's doing this for a man he has never met. Not to mention,
But he's always
he
known.
is listening to you quite a bit
And
for having just met you.
His father also trusted me. And
I
were
doubt
you
that.
to his fa- Listen here, lady. You can insult me all you want, but my professionalism is top notch, and I wouldn't have secured the claim of the richest man in the city if I was not utmost trustworthy.
He may have trusted you with numbers and money, but that does not mean he trusted your advice.
to execute his will.
So it dawns on Galdrien as he's standing outside the hidden door that having a hidden door is meaningless if there are people behind it yelling at each other.
Fernacio walks in to the hidden door and sees the two. It's like, you two really just need to fucking get it over with. And he's gonna take off the wig.
I
And,
know, right?
I think you highly misunderstand. This is
no.
This is disdain and downright abhorrence.
Yes, that does not preclude anything that I have just said.
You and I run in different circles. And I run in the bordello circle.
We are going. I think I have something to go on. I think we need to pay our journalist friends a visit without weapons drawn.
I didn't draw a weapon.
No. I'm not accusing anyone. I'm just saying that we should go there as civilized people. Maybe.
Is she gonna react civilized after the way you treated her?
Well, to be fair, she did attack us first. We were simply defending
You keep
ourselves.
saying we. She attacked you, and it wasn't really an attack.
Do I still have access to this city's version of the internet?
Yeah, more or less.
She is so
I
not
know
going to be
we're
receptive
cut up
of
from
you
the
guys.
accounts, but
Yeah, anything that requires a paid service that you can't afford is unavailable.
Point
Okay.
of order, I do have that, don't I?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We need to go to the thread puller. I'm going to need to speak with our giant friend. Maybe she'll like an exclusive scoop.
Speaking of scoops, and the halfling says, "I completely forgot dessert." And two people come in with another set of cloches, one of which has just scoops of ice cream,
Or
and
Okay,
one
please-
of
please do eat
which
something.
looks like it just has slices of cake on it. And that's where we'll leave off. So with this halfling, being like, "Ooh, dessert," and going and getting ice cream and cake.
Saiyna will load you up a plate that has actual food on it too.
You have to have your meal before you have dessert.
Galdrien reaches for a slice of cake, and Saiyna just slaps his hand away.
No, you can have cake, but he has to eat some of the other stuff first.
3 big bites. 3.
all right. And also, I need to speak with a representative of House Tobaccunon.
I think we'll have to speak with Bastille. She keeps tabs on them, the various halfling families. They make a lot of deals. But yes, we can get that information.
All right.
And we end this session on cake and ice cream for everyone.
I don't trust it.
Well, people are screaming for other
There,
things.
there,
other
there are
rooms.
even some small plates, like, there's like 10 plates of cake and ice cream, and then there's 10 small plates of cake and ice cream.
It's too nice.
I just want to say that Doc's probably got like the best back massage of her life, of her 1,000 years, or at least in the top 5.
You know,
I don't know.
we'll have to see if she becomes a recurring character.
Well, for free anyway.
So that's what I got for you guys this time. Got anything you wanna bitch about? Anything you wanna plug?
You killed my dad.
Oh, get over it. I just lost a jacket,
I know.
which is way worse.
I know. Thank you. Thank you. Also, Cabby's dead. What the fuck?
Blame that one. Don't blame me. Blame Ray.
Also, dear listeners, I'm sorry if my accent's going all over the fucking place. I don't care. It's happening. I'm trying to do this vocal cadence.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. So, deal.
Also, Egbert's dead. That's right. The basilisk.
So to be
You
fair,
sold him.
yeah, you sold a living being.
I didn't know that it was gonna go up in flames and horribly end within a week.
That's true.
I just assume everything you guys do is gonna end in flames within a week.
Whether it's our fault or not.
Hey, we've done this for over a year, so
The caldera was on fire and it wasn't our fault.
yeah. It started on fire.
Start the.
Inferno.
Volcano?
Actually, we did.
Yeah.
We kind of raised that dragon up. We were the last step.
Oh, whoops.
There was no way around that.
Yeah.
All right. So find us at the places and do the things. Subscribe, hit that bell, something or other.
Smash that like button.
Oh God. Oh God. We're on YouTube. Yeah. Sponsor an F-bomb. Read the show notes. Tell a friend.
I also have to add, anything that I say as Rhys cannot be construed as legal advice.
Yes, please don't.
Hashtag
Please
not legal advice.
don't.
Yeah. Any resemblance that NPCs have with people living or dead is completely coincidental.
The only real professions that we come anywhere close to knowing what we're doing with are the art stuff and the music stuff.
That's putting a lot of stock in.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a.
You underestimate my imposter syndrome.
I underestimate your geekiness for music
All right.
and bad puns.
That's enough about real life. People want fantasy shit.
Yeah.
Having said that, thanks for listening to us. We'll see you guys next time.